Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the CanDo Podcast, where life is all about what we can do, not what we can't. And today I am super fired up to have my friend. This girl is doing things. She is incredible. Her name is Jackie Silver, and she is a dietitian, registered dietitian. She uses a wheelchair for mobility. She can also walk. She has some unique stories that we'll share, but she is incredible. Honored to have her on the show. Jackie, thanks for coming on today and sharing your story about food and about your passion for helping people. You're getting involved in the Special Olympics there in Canada is great, and we'll get into that. We have a ton of things in common: our love for swimming, our love for exercise, our love for people, and of course, our love for food. Jackie, thanks for coming on today. It's great to have you. How are you?
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here. I'm doing well, thanks.
God, I got to ask you first thing, because you and I spend a lot of time in our chairs. That chair you got is pretty comfortable. Please explain what that is to our audience.
I'm sitting in a Lazy Boy electric recliner chair, so there's a remote control, so I can elevate my legs. If they feel swollen, I can keep them down. It's a really multi-purpose chair and very adaptive, I would say, for my needs.
That is great and very comfortable. How's the weather out there in Toronto? I'm not a huge fan of cold, but when you said Toronto, I had to ask certainly about the weather.
Yeah, I live in Toronto. The winter is awful. I don't like the cold. I'm not a fan of the cold. One day I think I need to live in Miami. I don't know. But today, spring is starting to pop up and it's starting to get a little bit warmer and the sun is starting to shine more. So I like that.
Well, it's great to meet you. I want to get into your story. I know we're pressed for time. Talk about your passion for nutrition, for helping people specifically with disabilities of all kinds, specifically kids with autism. Is that correct?
Yeah, my private practice mostly focuses on kids, teens, and adults with autism or ADHD. I do work with some clients with physical disabilities, but that hasn't, well, okay, I'll backtrack. I went to Ryerson University in Toronto for a Master's of Health Science in Nutrition Communications, and I graduated in June 2020, so pretty recently still.
Congrats to you. That's a great accomplishment.
Thank you. And in my placement, in my internship placements, I did one rotation with Special Olympics Ontario. So I got to provide cooking classes and workshops for athletes with intellectual and developmental disabilities. And there was, I would say it was my first taste of working with this population. And I really loved it. The athletes were so kind and friendly and gentle. And I saw that there was a really big gap for working with this population. And then a couple months after I graduated, I decided I want to start my own business. I've always had that entrepreneurial spirit in me. And so I launched my private practice called Jackie Silver Nutrition. And originally I wanted my niche to focus on adults with physical disabilities. So I wanted to work with folks with spinal cord injuries, MS, CP, arthritis, those types of conditions. But I had started getting all these requests for autism. And then first adults, and then it went to kids and teens. And so the niche, the clientele of physical disabilities just didn't really take off, but the autism one did. So that's what I've stuck with. And I've since done extra trainings and webinars and courses to learn how to work with the autistic community. And I'm really passionate about working with this population. There's a really big need.
Well, congratulations. I'm so excited to hear more about how you're able to help that community. And hats off to you from an entrepreneurial standpoint to adapt and to listen to your clients and adapting to what they need. Oftentimes in business, so many entrepreneurs are fixed on their vision when at the end of the day, and I'm extremely passionate about this here at CanDo and Keto Crisp, is customers, 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 and listening and listening and listening and figure out what the need is and how we can service them best. And you've done that by, adapting your focus, and it's a real win-win for everyone. I mean, I know with, talking to you over time and just even now, how thankful your clients are. Tell me, how does what characteristics do you find in your clientele when you're doing an assessment? What is the biggest, most common thing that you find within food that will help somebody with autistic, situations?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I would say that the most common issues that come up are digestive issues. Um, Autistic kids are 5 times more likely to have digestive issues than their neurotypical peers. So I see a lot of constipation, diarrhea, bloating, some IBS. Another thing is some nutrient deficiencies, um, low vitamin D, low iron, low B12. Those are somewhat common. With the kiddos, I see a lot of picky eating, a lot of issues around the sensory sensitivities to different textures of foods. So working on expanding their diet, getting them to eat more, a wider variety of foods. I see that also in the adults too, but more so in the kids. With the adults, another big thing is planning around executive dysfunction. So they'll have a really hard time planning things and getting things organized and being able to think about their meals and their schedule for the future, even for a day in advance. So really helping them with those planning and organization skills to have things ready, to prep things in advance, to come up with simple ideas. And another big thing is mindful eating cues, because in autism, the interoception is often missing. Interoception means your ability to tune into your body's signals. So with nutrition, that means hunger and fullness cues. So a lot of them, they just don't have those cues. They can go hours without eating and not even know they were hungry, or they don't know when they're full. So teaching them the skills to be able to tune into these cues better.
Right. One of the things that I really appreciate, I was listening to a podcast that you had on your website, was, go for the easy wins so that your clientele can feel comfortable about that. And I'm a huge advocate for that kind of thought process or system for success, because I honestly believe that success breeds success, positivity breeds positivity, and conversely, if you put too much on an individual, it can be like an incredible daunting task and very overwhelming and cause somebody to shut down and give up relatively easy. So talk about that strategy and how you use that in your life to be the successful person that you are.
Yeah, that's a great question. I've never been asked that before. So I would say with my clients, I definitely teach them a lot about making small tweaks that can turn into sustainable long-term habits. And I'm also very aware not to overwhelm them with too many tasks at once, because that can be really overwhelming for their brains. So yeah, like I'll have them start with very small things, but I say small in quotation marks because they're not actually small. So, I mean, even just, drinking more water or switching to a whole grain bread or pasta, prepping one meal in advance, these things, these tweaks are what's going to help them in the long term and really being consistent. And that's definitely helped me in my life. It helps me to feel less overwhelmed, to make small changes at a time, and to just keep on working at things and being consistent um, over time. So even in my business, I'll do that too. I started an email list last year and I said, okay, I'm going to send out one email a month because that seemed more doable to me than doing every single week. And then I started blogging more. I took a blogging course in the fall to learn how to turn your blog into a business. And so I said, okay, I'll start with 2 blog posts a month. I'll start really small. But I want to be consistent. That's the point, is to be consistent so you can turn it into a sustainable long-term behavior. Because if you just go gung-ho and say, okay, I'm going to publish 8 blog posts a month, you're going to burn out after 2 months and then you're not going to do it anymore. So, so you got to go small and be consistent yeah, over
yeah,
the long term, it will pay off. It's not a quick fix.
yes. And I think you can use that. Obviously, you can use that blueprint in life and, of course, with your diet. You always want to start small because you want to get wins. You want to create that confidence. And I think that's really critical for success. For me, I had gotten into the pool regularly for the first time, and I was doing things that I always had hoped to be able to accomplish, but never really thought possible. And then I was like, wow, this is amazing. And it wasn't a lack of confidence. I've always been confident in my ability, but when you never have the opportunity and finally it comes to fruition, you're like, damn, this is really cool. So then I thought, well, I'm doing a great job walking in the pool, doing some incredible things. How do I even tighten it up? So I really focused on my diet, and then just the weight started to come off by adopting a low carb, low sugar, basically a keto lifestyle. And it really is a lifestyle. It's not a diet, because you're really teaching your body a new language. When you talk to clients, how do you format diet? Do you work? Do you talk about it as a lifestyle? Do you talk about it as a diet? Does that even come into play? Or are you just getting them to eat the right foods and understand what foods mesh with their mental makeup?
I would say it's probably a mix of everything, but yeah, a mix of everything. But I would say, I guess, more of a lifestyle. And like I said earlier, like making tweaks. I like the term tweaks and adaptations to what they're currently doing so that it's easier and more practical for them. And yeah, and I recommend my tweaks based on their health history, their medical history, their medications, their social situation, where they're living, who they're living with, what their abilities are. So there's a lot of things that I take into account when giving recommendations. It's very
Great.
personalized.
Yes, and I can tell you spend a lot of time, being personalized, and I can tell that you really care about your clientele and wanting to do what's right and having a tailored approach, and it's not a cookie cutter situation. What
Mhm.
advice would you give to an individual that maybe is a little bit overweight and looking to get started? And because I believe the hardest thing in life is to get started, but once you're on that freight train and you see that path to success, the mind is the most powerful part of one's body. And if you say I can do it, and then you put in baby steps, you know, uh, you're off and to the races. What advice would you give to people, that are looking to make a change in their lifestyle, diet wise? I know we talked about starting small and building achievable goals. What other things do you think are critical in making that transition to a better lifestyle?
Mhm. Yeah, that's a pretty loaded question. I would
Yes.
say The first thing I would say, and this might sound controversial to a lot of folks, but is to shift the focus away from numbers and away from the number on the scale. Because if you want to sustain something in the long term, and somebody is very focused on the numbers, then in the majority of people it's not going to be sustainable, and they could get disappointed, frustrated. It could have negative impacts on their mental health. So I really recommend on shifting the focus to how you want to feel. Do I want to feel more energetic? Do I want to improve my cholesterol levels? Do I want to be able to walk long distances so that I can hang out with my grandkids? Do I want to be able to feel good, um, feel good in my body? Do I want to be able to prep meals ahead of time? I'm kind of blanking on other examples, but really shifting the focus away from weight and what your body looks like, and towards positive health outcomes that are independent of weight. Because when people make lifestyle changes, there can be a lot of positive health outcomes, even if the weight doesn't change. So I
Correct.
don't want people to be discouraged if that's what they're focusing on and that doesn't change, because there's a lot of other positive benefits that can still happen to their health, physically and mentally.
Great. And that's so true, and it's so important. People do get stuck on the number, but it's more than the number. It's how you
Mhm.
feel. It builds confidence. I can do this. I've seen it. I see results. I feel better. I'm not getting a cold as often. I'm not as sick as I
Mhm.
used to be. I'm feeling better about myself. Uh, I, I want to know, talk about your passion for nutrition. Where does it come from, and your ability to touch so many people and inspire them? You have such a calming attitude that you make it very easy to approach you and talk about, you know, sensitive topics. Tell me
Mhm.
about your passion for what you do and basically where it comes from. And then we can talk about your ability to connect so well with people. Where does that come from?
Hmm. Well, my passion, I've always been pretty passionate about health. I would say probably because I myself was born with a disability, have a condition that impacts my left leg, and I use a wheelchair for distances and forearm crutches for short distances to walk. And so I've always had to, as a kid, I've always gone to physical therapy, occupational therapy. I've had to be more careful and more cautious, um, and yeah, from a young age, I really loved exercising and moving my body in ways that felt good. I love, I love working out. I love feeling strong. That's another positive health outcome that you can focus on, feeling strong. And yeah, my first university degree was in kinesiology, so the study of exercise science. I guess I always knew I wanted to work in healthcare. I wanted to uh, help people, support people. I love talking to people, I love working with people. And I wanted something that was versatile. So if I got bored of one area, I could work in another area within the same field. And I just stumbled upon dietetics, and I thought it would be a good opportunity. And yeah, my perspectives have definitely shifted and evolved um, throughout my studies and my career. And now I'm pretty passionate about um, serving underserved communities, the physically disabled community, autistic community, and also helping people foster a healthy relationship with food, and healthy relationship with their body, and positive body image.
That's great. What is the most exciting thing for you? And I think I already know the answer, but I'd like you to share it with our audience today. What is the most exciting thing for you about your business that you've created in this kind of platform? to help so many people with their diets. And just talk to me about what's the most exciting thing for you?
Mm. It's hard to pick one, but
You don't have to pick one.
I
It could
mean,
be two, three. Could
yeah,
be.
I mean, what I find exciting is that now in this very online world, you can make a lot of information accessible to people at affordable prices. You can reach people all over the world, especially with blogging. And there's lots of ways that you can solve people's problems. It doesn't have to be through one-on-one counseling. It could be through online courses, ebooks, recipe books, um, brand work. There's a lot of ways that you can make a difference in what's an online business, which is really cool. And getting feedback from my clients, even just somebody telling me that they tried a recipe from my blog, that brings me joy. Or my clients telling me, parents telling me that they feel less stressed about how to deal with their kids and their picky eating. They feel more at peace with it. Hearing that my clients' moods are better because they're actually eating, that they're less irritable, they're less harmful, not not as don't hit their family members as often. Though, like those things are really amazing to hear just from people being nourished and eating consistently. So
Did
the
you
feedback.
go ahead? I'm sorry.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, the feedback that I get from people is, really motivates me to keep going.
I'm sure that's so rewarding, and especially in our business here at CanDo, hearing from customers saying, "We loved your bars, we loved your service." That's great, and that's really what it's all about for me and for our team, is to get that feedback, and positive or negative, but certainly positive. Um, as we wrap up here, who are some of your role models growing up? I know for me, obviously, it starts with my parents. They knew I was special, not because I was in a wheelchair, but because of the person that I am. And of course, my brothers and sisters, I always just wanted to be just like them. So whatever they were doing, I wanted to do. And it just so happens that I happen to be in a wheelchair, and you know, I embrace my disability, and very thankful for the opportunities that I have each and every day. I can't tell you how thankful I am to be able to do what I do, and
Mm.
to be a part of this world, because I think the world is such an incredible place. Tell me about your role models growing up.
Mhm. Yeah, well, definitely my parents. I'm very, very close with my parents, and they've always encouraged me to go after my dreams, and they've always supported my decisions. They were very supportive of my academic and career decisions. They were super supportive of me starting my own business so early on from graduating. And yeah, they're really amazing emotional support to me. And I hope to be as giving a parent as them one day. And another role model I would say has been Rick Hansen. Have you heard of him?
No, I have not.
The Man in Motion. He's from Vancouver, in Canada, and he has a spinal cord injury that he got when he was 16. And 35 years ago, he went around the entire world pushing himself in his wheelchair to
Yes,
raise.
I'm familiar with the story.
Yeah, I'm sure he's quite well known. And so he always teaches people to focus on their abilities, and he believes that everyone can be a difference maker. And I've met him a couple times. I'm an ambassador for his organization. I give talks to students about accessibility and inclusion, and he has been a big role model. He's inspired me to keep going.
That's great. Thank you for sharing. In the end,
Mhm.
I always like to ask our guests, you know, in in life for you, what is your biggest can-do moment? For example, mine is dedicating myself to health and wellness and losing the weight and then being able to be part of such an incredible company here at CanDo. Tell me about your biggest can-do moment,
Mm.
something that you're most proud of, that maybe you didn't know that it would work, but you just believed, you kept fighting, you kept getting after it and never gave up.
Mm. I'm thinking of a few,
Of course.
but well, I'd say one big one was starting my business because I started from scratch and I've built, I've built something that I'm really proud of. And another is dealing with a lot of medical challenges in my life. Stuff that I didn't, some days I wanted to give up, didn't think I'd get through it, didn't think my life would get better. Um, these challenges are really, really hard. But I'm proud of myself for coping and getting through them.
Well, I'm very proud of you as well. You're an inspiration to me and so many people. I know that word is thrown around a lot and we hear it. We're so grateful for the positive feedback and for everybody in our life. And I got to say thank you so much for coming on and sharing a little bit of your story with us. And I look forward to connecting with you and getting to know you better in the future. And I really, really appreciate your time. And thank you very, very much for coming on.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me. And your listeners should go check out, they're welcome to check out my blog. Jackie
Yes, I was going to get it. Hold on, let me
Oh,
get. How do we get a hold of Jackie? She's got so many great things. Jackie, give yourself a plug. See, I'm a rookie at this podcast deal. We're getting a little better every day. But Jackie, give yourself a plug because you definitely deserve it. So please, thank you.
thanks. I wasn't sure if you forgot or I don't know.
No.
Yeah, so people can find me at my website, JackieSilverNutrition.com. I have lots of recipes and educational blog posts on health, nutrition, and autism and different types of physical disabilities. So check out that. I have some free downloads on my blog. I have a meal prep planner that's tailored specifically to people with physical disabilities with their needs in mind. You can download that for free. I have a neurogenic bowel and bladder guide that you can download for free, nutritional tips for managing that, and an autism constipation guide. So yeah, go ahead, find that out. I'm also on Instagram at Accessible Wellness, and I just joined TikTok at Jackie Silver Nutrition. So check out my TikTok.
Excuse me, everybody, for that cough, but please go check out her TikTok. I promise she's got something very special and unique over there. Jackie, thanks again for coming on today. Did you have any questions for me?
Yeah. I'm curious to hear more about when you started your business, Keto Chris, and what, yeah, how did you learn the entrepreneurial skills?
Great question. Keto Chris was launched in 2018, and I had lost 60 plus pounds on the diet, and I've always been aware of what I've really been fascinated by people. I love people. That's my passion. Learning about them, understanding what makes people tick, what makes them happy, what makes them angry, what makes them excited, what's fun, what's not fun, and leaning towards, helping people be the best that they can be, because that's when we thrive. So I'm really interested in people, and so I started dropping all this weight, and I was so excited. I would ride through the grocery store, and I would see all these keto products. It just didn't taste great, like my palate, you know. And this is no disrespect to anybody that started their own business or created their own brand, but but I just thought as an opportunity to make great tasting product, but also had nutritional value. Oftentimes there are brands that create a bar or a product and they focus on the macros first, which is great and so important. But the part that we felt we had an opportunity is to really focus on the great taste and texture. So I sat down with my brother, who's been in marketing and branding for 25 years, and we got a hold of a food scientist, and we said, you know what, we want to come up with 3 flavors to start, 2 chocolate flavors because we know that majority of the world loves chocolate, and then 1 vanilla / almond flavor, which is our almond butter bar. And literally we had a couple of thousand bars made up, and I would literally go door to door doing demos, going door to door with some of these grocery stores here in Southern California, and people would love the bars and they love the taste and they love the texture. And then, I was very humbled by all the success, and they loved hearing the story about the weight loss, and just my passion and love for people. And then, before COVID, like I said earlier, I would do demos at every store location. I'd be online, doing podcasts, different things like that, live look-ins, live Instagram deals, just talking about the brand. We'd go to trade shows, meeting different people in the industry, and people saying, man, you guys got a great tasting product here. And it's a great story. And we'd just be incredibly humbled. And 3 years later, we're, a top selling bar at Whole Foods. We're a top selling bar at Sprouts. We're in Costco's. We have a lot of Canadian customers. Thank you to all the Canadians out there. And I'm going to get you samples for you to try if you haven't tried them. But it's really one day at a time. It's not looking at, 3 years down the road or 2 years down the road. We have a saying at CanDo, it's one bar, one customer at a time. And really, I can't be more thankful to the customers out there that gave us an opportunity similar to you. Your clients give you an opportunity to trust. Hold on, my battery went, oh, sorry. To give you an opportunity to help them, and look at how well they've done it. And I can't, thank our customers enough, and thank you enough for spending a few minutes of your day, coming on and us learning more about you. But it really is just taking it one day at a time and not biting off more than you can chew. And I always say, if you have 5 days that are great, you're doing well, because not every day is going to be great. And but if you understand and take time and appreciate each day for what it is, you'll be pretty good to go.
Yeah, wow, that's a great story. I love hearing entrepreneurial stories.
Yeah, so it's been a lot of fun, and it's been great. And I couldn't be more excited for what we've done and what we will continue to do going forward. But the thing that makes me most excited is to connect with customers like you, connect with your patients, and really help them become as good as they can be. Because again, people gave us an opportunity when we couldn't, when we didn't have the ability to basically handle it ourselves. We always had great support. And so I'm always aware of so many people that have given me the opportunity to succeed. I want to just give back and do whatever I can to help. So the bar is a great platform for us to reach out to so many people. And it's not just about a bar and, this and that. It's about having a great day, having a great attitude, giving somebody a hug, showing love, being, sympathetic, patient, loving, caring, all those things, because that's really what the world is all about. And we're here together. Let's have a great time while we're here. Let's do what we do. Let's smile, let's joke, let's have fun, let's be in good shape, let's inspire and empower people to live healthier lifestyles. So again, I can't thank you enough for coming on. I really appreciate you, and I look forward to talking to you more down the future. Anything else you want to end with?
No, yeah, thanks for having me.
You got it. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon and evening, and we'll talk real soon, Jackie. I really appreciate it.
Sounds
Thank
great.
you so much. Thanks everybody for listening today. Really enjoyed having you on and as part of the podcast. And again, reach out to Jackie. Her website, guys, is really, really cool. In fact, I was doing some research. I didn't even know Jackie's website existed until a couple of weeks ago when we were introduced. And it's great. It's got some incredible tips, whether you have CP, whether you're autistic, whether you have spinal cord injuries, like she said, whether you're just an individual walking around looking to make changes, she can certainly help you. And you can already tell what a loving, caring, beautiful person she is. So reach out to her, have fun, keep smiling, have a great weekend. We love you all. Take care. Thank you, Jackie.
Thank you.